Alright, I'm gonna do a demo of the catalog CD workflow and our catalog workflow. So basically we'll manage two things. Here I have a repository with some tasks for Go. And here are some is a repository that's gonna pull them. So if I'm looking in that repository today, I have two tasks, 0 for both of them, and they're both coming from this repository, which is the one on the right. My configuration is the following. I'm pulling tasks in pipelines. You could just ask it to pull only tasks, only pipelines, and in the future other types will be supported. And I decided to ignore previous version. This needs to get better, mainly supporting some regex and stuff, but like for now this will do. So the first thing is I have this repository. It's got released a while ago, 2-3 months ago, and since then a lot of things changed. We migrated to V1, etc. So what we'll do is we'll do a release, and the release, what it does is it's gonna use a catalog cd command. So let me just show you what it is about. Catalog cd is a work in progress of a tool that allows us to do release of our task repository as well as pulling things from it using the catalog subcommand that is here. And there's a bunch of other things that might be split out, like render helps us produce parts of the readmes. Sign and verify our work in progress. Probe as well is for testing, but we might split it out, and lints will go to Kathleen as well. So basically what we're gonna do is we'll make sure when we release, we'll make sure we have an up-to-date label for the version. Then we'll add push commits, etc. So this is just so that I don't have to do this by hand. And then we'll invoke the catalog cd command, release, output on the release folder. It could be elsewhere. Usually I do this in a temporary folder, doesn't matter. The version we want to use and the lists of the tasks. And the tasks are there. So it's going to look at tasks and readmes from those two folders. When it's done, it's going to tag the repository, the commit, and push it, and it's going to create a release where it's going to generate nodes. It's not really a big deal. It's going to be based on this tag. It's going to have this name. And the key part is it's going to add those two files. So the catalog file and the resources file are two important files that will be pulled from the other place. Catalog is going to be the one that lists the tasks and their and some stuff to verify them, to verify that they weren't tampered. And the resource.tar.gz contains the actual content, like it's gonna be where the readmes and the YAMLs are. So if we try to invoke release and let's say 0.5.0, we'll see the commit. We'll see that catalog cd ran. It found two paths, go crane and go co. It loaded both of them. It created a tarball. It pushed it and it made a release. So now if we look here, we'll see that there's a catalog that tells me there's two tasks. One is go crane image, one is go co image. This is the version. This is the file name to find it in the resource table, and this is the digests to check. There's gonna be other things like signature with cosine, etc. But this is work in progress still. And if we look into the tarball, we'll see the content. If we were to look into the how does it say? If we were to look into the repository, we would see, so it's in short brain, task, we'll see the 0.5.0 release, and we see that it has those two. So now where we're gonna go is not in this one, it's gonna be in this one, in the Tekton CD catalog one. So if we go back to this one, now we'll go into Tekton CD, into the externals. And what's going to be interesting about this is how do we pull things. So there's a workflow that does this. We can do it by hand. I can show it by hand and then explain the workflow. But basically, the workflow is a bit like this. So you do catalog CD, generate catalog CD catalog, and there is a generate and a generate from. The generate is the one that's gonna generate from anything really, and basically you're gonna tell it's gonna generate all together. So I can say generate from externals and create it in some catalog, in some path, and it's gonna fetch things like it's looking at the Golang task and it fetched those two. So now if I'm looking into the catalog folder with 3, I can see that it pulled both of them, it pulled the content, etc. So it generated a file-based catalog layout. But all of this is automated by this task, by this workflow. And what it does is it actually tries to first get all the different externals. So there's a subcommand called externals that's gonna output something that GitHub Action understand, that says, well, this is the two matrix you'll have to execute. One is using Golang task, the Golang task, and the other one is the same with pipelines. And if we had more things into the external file, like more repos, like here another thing here, it would have those as well. And so the idea is that then we'll use generate from instead of generate. That allows us to reduce, like to do each repo on their own, and then it's going to create a PR. So if we go back to Tekton CD, it's executed from time to time. It executed 2 hours ago. I think it's executed each and every 6 hours, but we can run it by hand. So if we run it by hand, we can watch it executes, and the catalog matrix is gonna, it's gonna build the thing. So that might take some time. There should be, like, right now it's doing this because it does the go run something, because this is not even extracted from the OpenShift pipeline Tekton CD catalog repo, but long term we'll just pull a binary or something, or even have an action for this, so that it doesn't have to compile each and every time. To give us, like, it will speed up the process a little bit. And so once it's compiled, it will generate two things. In the meantime, I'm gonna go into this this is essentially doing the same as this is, like we have the same here, generate catalogs and stuff. And if we look at the past pull requests, you'll see that it's auto updated per external. So I didn't show the externals, but like if we look at the externals file here, we'll see that we are pulling task maven, task git, task OpenShift task containers. And if we look here, it did one for task maven relatively recently, and it auto updated. It added the 0 to 1. And if we look here on the generate catalog, we'll see that we have 8 job, one for task git tasks, task git pipeline, task maven tasks, task maven pipeline, etc. All right, now it's done. It outputted some metrics, and we can see that there's 2 things to execute. One is fetching Golang task, the task from Golang tasks, and the other one is fetching the pipelines for Golang tasks. There's no pipelines for Golang tasks, so it's going to be a no up. But this one is going to do something. And same problem. Right now we do a go run, and I wonder if we have an old, like, it doesn't seem to use the cache. It should use the go cache, so it should be quicker. So I need to check why. But yeah, it's gonna end up generating a pull request. We have one here as an example, but there's gonna be a new one. And this one added the task go crane something. All right, let's go back to generate catalogs and see where it is at. And I'll go, oh well, I don't need to go there, actually I can go from here. And if we look at the tasks that are there right now, there's go crane, go co, and there's only the 0 to 4 because the other one is not present in this repository. Like right now in task, I only have both of them, and hopefully it's gonna. And if we look, the readme was for 0.4 was very slow. The image were old, and hopefully most of this was fixed by the recent changes and release of the Golang task. So while we wait still, so the idea of this flow is we can maintain and manage our task however we want, because in the end, what we want to have is those 2 files attached to a repository. And this means, for example, you can use, as we do for OpenShift pipeline, you can use Helm charts. So Helm charts for endless templates for to generate tasks, but in the end, in the release, this will contain the actual generated one. And if we go into the Tekton catalog, for example, and we do, so on this one we have a different folder. Here we'll see that the task s2igo that I had there is the generated one. So it was generated from an Helm chart, and yeah, that's pretty much, that allows us to basically use the easy configuration of the file-based catalog with anything, and it means that one team, like there's a team that manages the Tekton catalog, and there's possibly another team that manages these tasks. As long as the contract between the two are respected, satisfied, then we're all good. And yeah, to go back to the demo, now it finished, it generated a new pull request. So for OpenShift pipeline, we use these so that it's automatically merged. Here I don't have any pro or any setup. And we can see that it pulled a 0.5 with the latest README and the latest Cochrane image, v1, higher thing here, etc. New image is used. And I can merge this. And now my catalog has a 0.5.0 for both of those tasks, in addition to the 0.4. So I'm now having a catalog that's very close to the Tekton C catalog, because it's following the same pattern, but the tasks that are in that catalog here are in that here, they're not maintained by the people maintaining this repo. Or here it is because it's all me, but like it doesn't need to. So that means the maintainers of the catalog can focus on keeping the catalog, the automation, testing, etc. well done, and probably the tooling, and rely and trust the community to add and maintain their thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the demo. The next thing coming here are integrating with cosign so that we can generate attestation and stuff, and use some of the in toto attestation, mainly more rely on some in toto attestation, mainly the test one. I don't remember the exact name. So basically we would validate that the task was tested and some information about how it was tested, so that we can trust not to run any tests against them, because it's gonna tests already run on all the tasks we pull, so doesn't necessarily make sense to run them another time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time to show up here, because usually it's, I don't remember, but like it's last process, it's gonna process the next process of the tasks and of the repo for both is gonna be in 18 minutes. So yeah, in 18 minutes there's gonna be a new task appearing on Artifact Hub. But yes, yeah, thank you for watching this demo. Hopefully it makes sense.